because I don't want to die. Who finna take care of these babies with this man? Let's talk about how my mommy makeover almost made me meet my maker. And they dropped me on the floor while they were doing lipo. Hey ma'am, and thank you so much for pressing play. If you're new here, welcome. And if you've been rocking with me for a while, thank you. This video contains graphic images that may not be suitable for all viewers, so viewer discretion is advised. I do give you guys a heads up before I share my pictures about my horrific mommy makeover story time. But yeah, leave some encouraging words in the comments, leave your stories in the comments, but this is mine, and I think that I've healed enough to share it, and my prayer is that it encourages people and helps people make the right decisions when it comes to having any surgical procedure, cosmetic or otherwise. So yeah, I love you to life, and I hope you enjoy. You already know, I got Laneige's Lip Sleeping Mask on the lips. Next, I'm going to use Caudalie's Beauty Elixir because I want my pores to be nice and tight. And then I'm going to use Embryollisse's Lait Creme for sensitive skin. It's a multifunction moisturizer and soothing mask. Best of all, it's non-comedogenic. Now, while I let that settle into my skin, let's talk about how I almost died from this mommy makeover. I think it's about time we discussed this. This is One Size's Secure the Blur. Now, this happened, the mommy makeover. This happened back in December of 2021. And over the years, I knew that I wanted to talk about it, but I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. Like, even thinking about it and like trying to like map out the details that I wanted to share, it kind of like I felt the stress and anxiety and the sadness and the like low-key depression all over again. So I really have been putting off sharing this story for a long time, but I can do hard things. 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 So I'm finally going to share my story. Ooh, golly. I don't know why I'm getting nervous about this. I don't know why I'm getting nervous about talking about it. I don't know. Maybe it's because, like, don't trip. Like, I have pictures, I have text messages, I have timelines, I have receipts. Like I said before this whole video started, viewer discretion is advised. I do have the chapters down below in the description box, so if you want to skip over the pictures, you absolutely can. For my eyes, I'm going to start with MAC's Prep and Prime 24-Hour Extended Eye Base. It's one of my favorite primers of all time. The reason why I got my mommy makeover surgery is because I wasn't seeing results fast enough in the gym, and I wanted faster results after having 3 babies, after being able to house 3 babies and, you know, have them be born healthy and then be happy. Like, after all of that, I just did not have the patience to wait for the results in the gym. So I wanted a quick fix, and surgery was the way to go. Now, let me just tell you, I feel like this is 100% my fault. As smart as God has made me, as inquisitive as God has made me, I did not utilize that inquisitiveness throughout this research process. I saw the results of, first of all, let me just back up a little bit. Mommy Makeover is a breast reduction, breast lift, tummy tuck liposuction. And that's what I got. I got a breast reduction and lift, and I got a tummy tuck and liposuction. The breast reduction isn't the part that almost killed me. The tummy tuck part is the part that almost killed me. And this doctor, I saw his work, like live and in person. I saw the work, I saw the person, and I really liked his work. So I was like, all right, bet, you're alive, you know, your process went well, your surgery went well, so why not? I did a little bit of research though. He is double board certified, but he's double board certified as a plastic surgeon and facial, like plastic surgery, not the body. The palette that I'm using today is the Warrior by Juvia's Place. Pun intended, maybe. I'm gonna use this color, this color, this color, maybe these two colors as well. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling while we work this out. Taking this no name fluffy dome brush, I'm going to use the Kano, this color. I'm going to use the Kano color right up here. So I went in for, I called the doctor, I went in for my consultation, and I should have known that this was a red flag from jump, because when he saw me, he said, wow, you're the biggest case I've ever seen. In your 25 years of practice, even if I was the biggest, I mean, yeah, he said I was the biggest case he'd ever seen. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? So he took my measurements, he said that he'd be able to take my case, and I paid the deposit. So I asked him about like any pre-surgical prep. Like, should I, like most doctors, you know, they told me that I need to be under a certain BMI before I have surgery. And he said, don't worry about that. We'll suck out all that fat with lipo. It's what he said to me. And you know, I'm so excited. I'm just ready to like get my body done. So I'm like, oh, music to my ears. Why not? I was a major red flag. I'm not a medical doctor, but I think that you should be under a specific BMI or surgical weight, or wait for surgery. Like, I don't know. It just, it rang, like the bells rang in my ears, but I ignored it. I ignored it. I'm gonna take this same no name fluffy dome brush and go into this dark, I think it's called Mino, this dark chocolate right here. And I'm going to put it over here in the corner. Now, because breast reductions are covered by insurance, I did have to fight with my insurance company to get it covered too. That should have been another like sign from God telling me, no, this is a bad idea. Like, do not pass go, do not collect $200. Like, just don't do it, girl. But no, I ignored that too. I misunderstood that as, yes, I did my part. You know, you got to give God something to bless. Child, just stupid. So anyway, I fought with the insurance company for maybe a couple of months to get them to cover the breast reduction part of it. And they finally did. Now, with that part, the doctor's office has to submit paperwork to justify the reason for the breast reduction in order for the insurance company to cover it. And the doctor's office took forever. Like, they didn't do their part to send in the paperwork like in a timely fashion. I think I had to like open 2 cases with the insurance company to get them to cover it, because the first time the doctor's office didn't send in the necessary paperwork. Anyway, I found the doctor, gave him my deposit to lock in the date, got the insurance to cover the best reduction part. I locked in the surgery date. Doctor said I didn't have to lose any weight or be under a specific BMI before the surgery. My happy-go-lucky self was like, bet, I ain't got to do all of this work. Why not? A couple of days before surgery, I went in to sign in some paperwork, and one of the documents was so that the nurse said so that we couldn't sue her. Heaven forbid something happened to me. And I thought that was weird, but I thought it was because like the doctor might not have carried like any malpractice insurance. So that was just a way to deter any lawsuits. But whatever. Paperwork said I can't sue them. And the only reason why I'm not sharing the like what the contract says is because I don't know if that's proprietary information, and I don't want to get in trouble legally for sharing that information on here. So I asked the nurse too if I could vlog about it, and she was like, yeah, you better give me a good shout out too. Okay. Nah. To make this pop for real, I'm going to use the white Anastasia Beverly Hills eye primer. I'm only gonna put a little bit. So, day of the surgery comes. I'm mad excited. I don't know if I slept the night before, but I'm so excited. My husband is with me, takes me to the surgery place. We pull up to the hospital in the hood. In the hood, it looked like a trauma response center. It didn't look like a hospital, like especially a hospital that did plastic surgery. Like it looked like, I don't know. And I don't know what kind of hospitals look like that, like what those hospitals look like. And maybe I'm being a little prejudiced, and I'm sorry, but that place was in the hood. It was in the hood. That should have been red flag number 3. But again, I ignored it. I thought, oh, maybe it's because it's like really early in the morning. I can't really see what it looks like. So, oh, this is another no-name fluffy dome brush. This is my first story time, guys, so bear with me because I'm trying to remember details and give y'all the steps to this look that's about to eat. Throughout all of this though, like up until the time that I booked the surgery, up until like the night before, I had a dream. I don't remember when I had the dream, how long before the surgery I had the dream, but I had a dream that I was hovering over my body in the operating room and they dropped me on the floor while they were doing lipo. Crazy. But I read the entire book of Psalms in 3 days, looking for prayers to pray over myself. And one that stuck out was Psalm 6 verse 5 and then Psalm 30 verse 9. Those two stuck out to me because I was just like, Lord, who's gonna praise you if I die? The dead don't know what the living are doing, and you are the one and true living God. So if I'm dead, who's gonna praise you? Who's going to exalt your name? Taking this small blending brush by that Manja brand, I'm going to use this color in the middle. It's Morami. I don't know how to pronounce these words. I'm not trying to be offensive. So I went in, had the surgery, did my blood work. They made sure that I wasn't pregnant. You know, they did all the things, and the surgery is performed. First of all, the doctor said that it was going to be a 2-hour maximum procedure. Told my husband it would take a maximum of 2 hours. My husband said that that they didn't come back to tell him that I was okay until 4 hours later. He said the surgery took at least 4 hours. To this day, I don't know why. I can guess, but that is what they told my husband. But I woke up, I was really excited. First of all, I was thankful to God that I survived the surgery and that I didn't die on the surgical table. I was thankful to God for that. So they are checking my vitals, and obviously after you have surgery, well, I'm not gonna say obviously because, you know, not everybody knows this, but after you have surgery, to make sure that all of your organs are awake, especially after abdominal surgery, they want to make sure that your bladder works. So you have to get up and you have to try and pee. So I walked with assistance because my legs were still a little numb. I walked with some assistance to the restroom that was in my room, my recovery room, and sat on the toilet, tried to pee. I got so ridiculously nauseous and I was like, I hadn't eaten anything from about 10 p.m. the night before, so why am I so nauseous? So the nurse is like, no, sweetheart, you have to get up and walk back to the room. And I was like, can somebody at least help me get up? So I pushed she was like, no, you have to push yourself up. So I pushed myself up with the bars that were in the bathroom, and I walked, or was at least slowly trying to walk my way from the bathroom to the bed. And then the next thing I know, or the next thing I felt, was somebody slapping me hard in the face. I'm laughing about it now, but all I felt was like somebody slapping me in the face and screaming my name, and that's what made me like open my eyes. I'm like, why are they yelling at me? I passed out, fell on the floor. And the nurse is like, oh, you thank God, like I thought we lost you, and you know, just follow the sound of my voice. And I feel it's like a room full of people trying to lift me and put me on the bed. I look at my husband, and my husband is terrified. I don't think I've ever seen the look of fear on my husband's face. My husband was terrified. So I came to, and then I'm like, what happened? They said that I passed out. I'm going back in with the dark chocolate color. They were like, you passed out. And I said, I'm apologizing to them for passing out. Like, my bad, I didn't mean to alarm you guys. I'm so sorry. And my husband is like, is she okay? Is she okay? And they said that I'd lost a lot of blood during the surgery. And they asked me if I wanted a blood transfusion. I declined it. Mind you, I was hopped up on morphine. I declined it. Personal preference, nothing about religion or anything like that. I just didn't want a blood transfusion. So they said, okay, well, we'll go, tell the doctor that you declined it. The doctor came in and asked again. They were like, do you want a blood transfusion? And I said, no. They said, okay, well, your pressure is too low, and that's why you passed out. So they put me back into the other recovery room to get, they put me with, I think, between 2 or 3 liters of saline solution to bring my pressure back up, because I declined the blood transfusion. I think this is cute. Wouldn't you say? Let's do some eyeliner. This is Wet n Wild's Breakup Proof eyeliner. So they got me to walk in. I ended up, utilizing the restroom, so that meant my bladder was active. And they were like, all right, she can go home. The look on that nurse's face when she wheeled me out in that wheelchair, she didn't want me to leave that hospital. Like, she looked scared to let me leave the hospital. But I wanted to go home. I wanted to go home to my babies. I wanted to start, my healing journey with my small boobies. And I just wanted to get up out of there. Why was I embarrassed for passing out on the people on the floor? I don't know. But I was, and I wanted to get up out of there. So that's when the real nightmare begins. For about 10 days, I suffered from headaches, nausea, I vomited, and the whole time that I'm texting the nurse or calling the plastic surgeon's office, they're telling me that this is an allergic reaction to the anesthesia, and I'm like, I've been put to sleep before. I've never reacted to it like this. They're like, oh, no, it happens. So I'm like, all right, fine. So now I'm home trying to heal. And obviously with the tummy tuck, I can't lay flat on my back. But I also couldn't really sleep at an angle. My husband bought me special pillows. Like, I was uncomfortable on the couch. And it wasn't just like an uncomfortableness where like I just had work done on my body, so I'm still trying to figure out how to position myself to be comfortable. It was muscle spasms in my abdomen. And I was black and blue bruised all over. Why would I be bruised down the sides of my thighs on the outside? I didn't get any work past my waist, which kind of made that dream feel like maybe it happened. Then on top of that, I was having headaches. And when I tell you headaches, it wasn't a regular headache. It was like a migraine on steroids that I just could not get rid of. I was on pain medication that they prescribed. That didn't work. And I stopped using it because it made me constipated. I tried taking Tylenol and Advil together. That didn't help the headache subside. Hold on, I can't talk and do this liner at the same time. So I get home, I'm suffering from muscle spasms, nausea, vomiting, abdominal cramping, dizziness, headaches, double vision. After about 12 days of taking finishing rather, 2 brand new bottles, 1 bottle of Tylenol and 1 bottle of Tylenol ER, I finished both of those bottles in a span of like 10 to 12 days. And on the bottle, it's like, if you finish this in a certain amount of time, you got to go to the doctors. I called I was calling the doctors, and I have the text message, I'll put it up here somewhere, where I called the doctor and told them that I had double vision and I felt like I had a really bad headache, and they said that they were going to prescribe gabapentin. Now, gabapentin is a medication that they give for neuropathy, like pain in like your hands and your feet due to pain in your nerves. So she said that should help the double vision subside. I was like, all right, fine, whatever. I got the medication. First of all, I was done with the Tylenol, and I expected her, like she said, to calling the prescription to my pharmacy that morning. It was close to like 3, 4, 5 o'clock. Close to 4 or 5 o'clock. 4 or 5 o'clock. She still hadn't called in the prescription. I'm like, which pharmacy did you call it into? You know, when did they say that I was gonna get it? And I called my primary care doctor to see if he could prescribe the medication, because at this point I'm like, I can't sleep, I can't eat, I can't keep my eyes open, I can't focus on anything. I needed some type of relief. So she calls it in. My doctor called it in too, but he's like, I can't understand why you want it. I explained it to him. No, I take that back. He didn't call it in. He didn't call it in. The plastic surgeon ended up calling it in. So I took it, but it made me feel dizzier. And it made me feel more nauseous. So I was like, I'm not taking this. Like, it's making me feel worse. Like, I'm not gonna do it. Anyway, the date of my surgery was December 20th. I followed up with the plastic surgeon on January 4th to see how I was healing. Now, the necrotic tissue had already started to show up or form. And giving you a disclaimer now, I'm going to show the picture. It'll be up for about 3 to 5 seconds right here. But the necrotic tissue started to form. And I think it's because of how they put the bandage around my waist. The bottom of the bandage was literally sitting at the site of the incision. It wasn't sitting lower than that incision site. And I feel like that's what cut off the circulation for blood flow. So surgery was 12/20. Saw the plastic surgeon January 4th. I saw my primary care physician on January 5th because I'm like, I need to like eliminate this double vision, this headache. Like, I'm crying. I can only keep one eye open because my eyes were sensitive to light. So my primary care physician tried to call in to one of the imaging facilities for me to get an MRI, but they were booked for, I want to say, at least 4 weeks. Like, even the secretary of the doctor's office was like crying. She's like, I really feel like something is going on like really bad with you, but you can't get an MRI for like 4 weeks. My doctor was like, all right, bet, let's call you in the morning. I said, all right, fine, I'm gonna go home. It's been 2 weeks of this, like, what's another night? I went to my optometrist's office to see if he could at least give me an eye drop to help with the double vision. Now, me and my eye doctor, we're cool. Like, we laugh, we joke, we kiki. That day, or that evening rather, I've never seen that man so serious before in my life. He was like, I need you to go to the ER right now. And I was like, are you serious? He didn't flinch, didn't bat an eyelash. He was like, don't collect $200, don't pass go. I'm not even letting you go home. Like, I'm telling you, leave here and go straight to the ER. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, what's happening? So he diagnosed me with what's called, and I have to look this up because I wrote it down. I don't want to mispronounce it. He diagnosed me with a Pseudotumor cerebri, which is idiopathic intracranial hypertension. It means that like all of the fluid, basically like in my spinal cord or in my head, is trying to exit out of my eyeballs. He took a picture of my retina. I'll post a picture of that. He took a picture of my retina. This is what it looks like. That's what it looked like when I was going through all of that. And he said that he wanted me to go to the ER. I got admitted to the hospital that night. And then that's when the craziest stuff happened. So, Went to the ER. They admitted me. They gave me morphine because of the pain. Now, they took my blood pressure, and the doctor, the ER doctor on staff, was, this is Too Faced Born This Way concealer or foundation in Mocha. But the ER doctor on staff was like, do you want a blood transfusion? Your hemoglobin is really low. And again, I declined it. And I'm like, I don't want a blood transfusion. This black male doctor took off his mask, walks from the foot of my bed over to the head of my bed, puts his hand on my shoulder, and he's like, sis, get the blood transfusion. And I thank God for that doctor, because I wasn't going to do it. I'm going to spread my foundation with this foundation brush by that Manja brand. But yeah, I wasn't going to do it. And I just feel like I have to be really careful with what I put in my body. And that's blood. Like, I've donated blood. I donate blood. And, you know, I pray that it helps whomever it helps. But I just never really saw myself on the receiving end of receiving blood. So normally a woman's hemoglobin level is at a 12. They start blood transfusions at a 6. No, they start blood transfusions at an 8. I was at a level 6. Level 6, organ failure, you can literally die if your hemoglobin is too low. So that black man tapped me on my shoulder and was like, nah, sis, get the blood transfusion. And I was just like, okay, all right. The hospital wouldn't let my husband stay with me when I was admitted. So, and I didn't know this until after, but my husband told me he slept in the parking lot for 2 nights. Dropped the kids off at my in-laws and slept in the parking lot for 2 nights because he's like, bro, I don't know what's going on with you, but you know, if anything, I just want to be right here. I love that man. He's a good man, Savannah. So am I gonna do makeup on my forehead? I guess, why not? So, got admitted and they gave me 2 units of blood. 2 units of blood. The doctor who was overseeing my care while I was at the hospital wanted me to go through some bariatric, what was it called? Good Lord. It's called hyperbaric oxygen treatment. Not bariatric, hyperbaric oxygen treatment. And they like to use that for like severe cases of abdominal infections. The plastic surgeon denied it. Said that he didn't want anybody working on his work. So while I'm there, they're still trying to figure out like why I'm having double vision, why I'm having these headaches, blah, blah, blah. They gave me a powerful diuretic, which is a water pill called Diamox. The generic version is acetazolamide. But they gave me Diamox, and when I tell you I felt good, oh my goodness, I was so happy because I'm like, I don't know what else to say or do. So while I was at the hospital, they gave me an MRI, an MRA, an MRV. MRI is a regular MRI, but they did also one for my veins and my arteries. And then they did a CT scan, and I got an X-ray guided spinal tap. The X-ray guided spinal tap was the doozy. That was the one that really messed me up. This is the Taffy concealer in by Too Faced Born This Way. This is in Taffy. Put it in the corner, and I'm going to use honey. Everywhere else. But I'm not a claustrophobic person. until I needed to get an MRI and a CT scan. So much so I was crying and hyperventilating because I didn't want to get the MRI done. Like, that's how scary it was. I asked them to play gospel music in the headphones that they give you, and even then I still heard the machine going during the MRI. So I got the MRI. They didn't see anything wrong. And then with the X-ray guided spinal tap, you have to lay on this flat surface, and the X-ray on your belly, you have to lay on this flat surface, and the doctor or the technician uses an X-ray to be able to puncture it exactly in between your spine. So he did it. Then he's like, I also had to collect some spinal tap fluid. And I was like, well, how do you do that? He says, I have to tilt the table at 45 degrees. And I was like, what? He said, you're gonna have to hold on to the handles up top, and I have to tilt the table. And I was like, but I just got a tummy tuck. He said, that's the only way I'll be able to do it. I said, okay, fine, whatever. First of all, when he punctured my spine, the pressure is supposed to be at level 0, and my spinal fluid like just shot up out of the needle. He was like, yeah, you have a lot of pressure like in your spinal cord. And while he was doing that, he had to collect a tube full of spinal tap fluid. He said, well, the fluid looks clear. Like, it doesn't look like anything is in there. So we're still going to send it to the lab to see if anything grows. Thankfully, to God, nothing grew in nothing grew in the culture. But I had to hold on to these handles while the man of God lifted the table up to 45 degrees. My abdomen that wasn't fully healed ripped open. Like, I could lift up a t-shirt over my head from hip to hip. The entire incision just lifted open, ripped open. The tubes that are supposed to be sucking up the fluids are not sucking. They're just sucking air at this point. So I'm in the hospital, not yet discharged. And I'm like, dog, I gotta pack this. And the hospital can't do anything about my wounds because that's not the reason why I was admitted, according to them. So I'm like, I gotta pack this wound somehow. What did I do? I took some non-sterile paper towels from the bathroom, and I just sat it on top of my abdomen. I didn't pack the wound, but I sat it on top of my abdomen because I'm like, I can't keep leaking fluid everywhere. Anytime I had to get up to use the restroom, I'm leaking fluid down my legs, like into my Crocs, like stepping in, like my footsteps are my bodily fluids on the ground. And I'm trying my best to clean it up because I don't want anybody else to slip on it. I'm trying not to like get emotionally triggered about it because I almost died because I made a foolish decision to rush to get this surgery done instead of doing more research and praying on it like I should have. It's one of those things where it's like you can't, I went to God already expecting him to tell me yes to go ahead and get the surgery done. I was dumb. I was foolish on my part. And I almost paid with my life. So, I'm gonna take this contour brush by Real Techniques. It's their 206 brush. I'm gonna spray that down with some MAC Fix Plus. So I'm going back and forth with the plastic surgeon. I'm trying to get discharged so that I can go get emergency surgery. the plastic surgeon tells me over the phone to leave AMA, which is against medical advice. I think that's what that means. He told me to you're not a hostage. You can just walk out of the hospital. Yeah, but if I do, then the insurance company is not going to pay for my hospital stay, sir. Well, I have to be able to perform emergency surgery on you. Well, figure it out with the doctor that's at the hospital. And the other thing too is I almost kicked the doctor that was on my case in the hospital. I almost kicked him off of my case because I didn't like his attitude. I was like, I don't like how you're talking to me. And I'm glad that I didn't, because he was like, where's my mirror? Oh, he was like, I know what I'm doing. Like, nobody else is going to be able to assist you in the way I assisted you. Like, I called the case manager at the hospital. I said, I didn't like his attitude. He lying and saying that I had a conversation with him and I didn't have a conversation with him. And, like, I was ready to go the full distance with this until he said something that triggered my memory. And I was like, oh my gosh. That's when I was on lorazepam. And he was like, yeah. Like, you were literally sitting here, and I was like, I told the nurse not to give me lorazepam because I don't react well to lorazepam. Lorazepam is a generic version of Ativan. And the reason why I know that is because when my mother was dying of breast cancer, I was suffering from insomnia. So my primary care physician at the time provided Ativan to help with my nerves, to help me sleep. I don't react well to that drug at all. I literally see sounds and I hear colors. I don't know how to explain it, but like blue sounds a specific way. The room would be pitch black dark and it's like a disco ball party in my room. So I don't take it. I never take it. I told the nurse that and she's like, oh, well, your heart rate is too fast. It's going too high and you need something to calm yourself down. And I'm like, you coming in my room every couple of hours to check on me is not helping me either. Like, this is my first time in a hospital by myself. I've never been in a hospital by myself. The only times I've been in the hospital was to give birth to my children. And I was not by myself. My husband was with me. Like, anyway, I'm not mad at that lady either because she was just doing her job. All she knew was that my heart rate was up and she needed to calm my heart rate down, so she gave it to me. Anyway, I apologized to the doctor to his face. I called I called the case manager and I was like, no, like, I'm not gonna file an official complaint. Like, it's my bad. I was on lorazepam and we did have the conversation, but I just didn't remember it until he said something that triggered a memory. So that's my fault. I'm sorry. So the doctor still arguing with the plastic surgeon to get me to the hyperbaric oxygen therapy treatment room, whatever. And the plastic surgeon is just adamant. He's like, no, this is Fenty's Matchstix and Espresso. But yeah, the plastic surgeon was like, nah, shawty, that's not happening. But while I was in the hospital, I saw an infectious disease doctor, a neuro-ophthalmologist, an ophthalmologist, a primary care physician. I don't think they had me see a plastic surgeon there. But they did, that was an option. But old boy was like, nah. So I finally get discharged. And the only reason why they discharged me is because the doctor had to guarantee that I was going to have surgery the day after I was discharged to remove this necrotic tissue. While I was there, I had 2 blood transfusions. I I think they were giving me oral antibiotics, and they were taking blood. I want to say they were taking blood like every few hours, probably to check my hemoglobin while I was having a blood transfusion, just to make sure that my hemoglobin was going up and remaining stable. But child, they ran out of spots to take blood, so much so like the nurse had to take blood from like this vein over here. Like these veins were blown, these were blown here on my hand. Like they couldn't take. This one was blown and they had to switch my IV to this arm. It was a time. It was a time. But yeah, they put me on this antibiotic, which is specifically for abdominal infections. It's called meropenem. But they put me on that, and that they gave me that twice, and that was via IV over, I think, about 3 hours. I had to drip into my vein for about 3 hours. Yeah. That was, it didn't hurt. It wasn't painful. Like I have a high tolerance for pain, which is why when I started to have the headaches, I'm like, oh, I can eat this. Like this ain't bad. But when the pain just kept on increasing, and I just could not, like I couldn't eat that. I was crying, like literally calling out to the Lord in the living room, because I'm like, I can't keep waking up my husband. My husband got to get some sleep. He's literally a single father at this point, because I'm no good to any of them. I'm up walking around my house praying. I'm praying in tongues. I'm anointing my home with holy oil. Like, I'm just trying to figure out, like, Lord, what is happening? Like, what is happening right now? Because I don't want to die. Who's finna take care of these babies with this man? I gotta raise the babies you gave me, Lord. I gotta be here to raise the babies you gave me. So I had the emergency surgery. That went well. The plastic surgeon said, I'm not gonna charge you my fees for the emergency surgery. You just have to cover paying for the OR. Oh, I'm using the foundation brush to blend out this contour. Sir, I wasn't gonna pay you anyway. That would have had to go to my credit or something. I wasn't gonna pay it. That's your fault. Your fault, sir. What else? Good Lord. So I had emergency surgery. That went well. I was on that diuretic. I was on that water pill diuretic for about a month, maybe 2 months. They were like, you're gonna have to be on it. Oh, I was on it for 3 months because they said that I was gonna have to be on it for 6 months, and I was like, I'm not a pill taker. So I weaned myself off of that after month 3. What else? That healed as best as they could. But then some of the tissue again started, like the doctor couldn't get all of the necrotic tissue. Like there wasn't enough tissue to pull down to close the tummy tuck incision. Like that's how far up the necrotic tissue. It traveled up higher than my belly button. So he did the best he could. He closed it as best he could. And then I had a third procedure done locally in the doctor's office. They did local anesthesia. And he removed about another 2 to 3 ounces of necrotic fat. To the point where when I looked down, I was watching him do it. And he was like, oh my gosh, you're so strong. You're so strong to watch, this procedure. And I'm like, I want to see what you're doing. So it looks like, he didn't let me take a picture of it, but the fat looks like chicken fat, like yellow is what the body fat looks like. So he cut it all out, and then I looked down and I could see my deep muscle, like I could see my abdominal muscles. That was wild. It was pretty cool, but it was wild. It was crazy. So he did that, and then he stitched it shut, but then he told me to straighten out as best as I could, so that when I healed, I didn't heal like hunched over. Big mistake. So I did that. Mind you, I'm not on any pain medication anymore. I did that. And once that local anesthesia wore off, I would feel like sharp pain in the section that he stitched up. And I'm like, all right, I gotta chill. I'm not gonna force myself to, you know, walk up straight or sit up straight. About a week later, he's like, oh, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah. I sat up straight like you told me to do, started walking straight or whatever, and I literally felt these stitches ripping through my flesh. And now I have a hole that my kid could fit their fist through. So now I have a gaping hole. I'm not getting any lymphatic drainage massages at the time because the nurse, though she recommended it, in my mind I'm like, there's no way I'm going to get a massage with necrotic tissue. Like, that's not happening. I'm not a doctor, but in the good sense, with the good sense that the Lord gave me, that did not make sense. So I wasn't getting my lymphatic drainage massages. I went back to his office. I think that might have been the last time that I went. I went with my dad. My dad was going with me to some of my appointments to drive me up because I wasn't comfortable driving yet. I'm gonna blend this contour out with a blending brush from that Mantra brand. My dad had gone with me, and their tune changed, or their treatment of me changed, when they found out or realized that my father's an attorney. They did a whole 180, child. But by that point, I was never coming back to the office. Like, it was too late. So I went, and the doctor was like, you're just going to have to pack the wound until it heals. I said, okay, is it going to close and heal by the time of my trip to Mexico? He said, yeah, you'll be fine. You can go in the water if you want. And I was like, all right, I'm still not going to go in the water. But he's like, yeah, you can go in the water, you'll be fine. Just make sure that you pack the wound. It took almost 8 months for that wound to heal shut after my trip to Mexico. And my trip to Mexico was 3 months after my surgery was my trip to Mexico. It took another 7 or 8 months for me to heal, for that wound to close completely. My sister, who has done some time as a wound care nurse, first of all, homegirl was like, stop being stupid, you listening to the doctor. And I was like, first of all, I'm feeling mad sensitive, like, don't call me stupid. And she's like, you being stupid. And I was like, all right, you know, sometimes you just need to hear stuff, you know, give you a kick in the pants. But she was a wound care nurse, and I was FaceTiming her. The doctor told me to use Vash. I think that's how you say it. Told me to use Vash to soak the gauze in that and then pack the wound so that the wounds could heal from the inside out. And then my sister was like, no, use Dakin solution. Girl, I love me some Dakin solution. Do you hear me? They have 3 different strengths. I used the first 2. I used the 0.25 and the 0.5. I used those. So I would soak the gauze in that, and then I would pack the wound with it, and that killed the smell of rotting flesh. Like, if you, that was not a sexy time. That was not sexy. Like, to smell your flesh rotting, it's a different kind of smell. Like, oh, I praise God. Praise God. That's all I could do is praise God. Can't do nothing else but praise God for sparing my life. Can't do nothing else but praise God for sparing my life. We're going to set this with some setting powder. We're going to go in with Laura Mercier's translucent setting powder. Sorry, I got a text message. Translucent setting powder and translucent honey. I'm going to take this triangle puff that I'm sure I got off of Amazon. I'm going to dip it, buff it. Hold on, it's creased. Let me buff that out. Yeah. Press. But yeah, that's how I almost met my maker child. I was just not patient enough to see the work come to fruition in the gym. I wasn't eating right. But after the second surgery, I was like, nah. Literally got a new lease on life. I'm not about to waste it. I'm not about to waste it. That would definitely be me playing in God's face, and I don't know if he's gonna spare my life a second time. So yeah, you know, certain prayers or certain verses that I was declaring over myself during that time were that I shall live and not die so that I can declare the works of the Lord. I'm not done declaring how good God is. Like, I'm not done declaring how amazing and awesome and forgiving and gracious God is. I'm not done. Like, I'm not done thanking him for restoring my life. I'm not done for thanking him. I'm not done thanking him for restoring my marriage. I'm not done thanking him for sparing my life, for giving me peace of mind, for favoring me, because, you know, I'm God's favorite. Put that out there. I'm not done. Like, I got work to do to raise these babies that he gave me. I'm not done declaring the works of the Lord. So I'm glad he didn't call me home yet. This looks mad bright. Mad bright. What have I learned? What have I learned? Girl, I learned that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And if you're gonna get work done, make sure that you're getting work done for yourself and you're not getting work done to fill a void. Because another reason, after, obviously I had 3 kids, but another reason why I wanted to get the mommy makeover is because I was feeling really down about myself. If I just looked better, I would feel better. If I looked better, then I would enjoy shopping and wearing clothes and things like that. Like, things just weren't fitting, and I just was not, like, even just to bend over to tie my shoelace, it was, I'm breathing heavy. Like, constant discomfort. I would cry when I was getting dressed because my boobs were so huge. I'll post a picture of that, but I could have just done the breast reduction and not done the tummy tuck. Like, I ain't had to do the tummy tuck, child. But yeah, that's why I got it done. I'm not telling you what to do with your body. I'm just telling you to make sure that you feel like it's worth it for you. Not your husband, not your boyfriend, not your parents, not your job. Make sure that it's for you. But yeah, my takeaways. Would I ever do this again? Absolutely not. I'm sure my trainer is waiting for me to come back to the gym. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. But nah, I'm not ever gonna play myself like that again, y'all. Like, it's crazy. 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 I'm going to, the other takeaway that I have is, like, why would I let these photoshopped fake standards of beauty dictate how I felt about my body? This is Sephora's Microsmooth powder in Mahogany Tan Neutral, and I'm just going to set everywhere that I put my foundation before I contour. So why would I do that? I almost died. When I tell you I almost died, guys, like, it would have been R.I.P. Linda J. But the Lord saw it fit to keep myself here. Like, people say, yo, you did this, or I'm like, nah, that's all God. I will never take God's glory. Ever. It's nothing that I did. It's nothing that I did that kept me here. That's all the grace of God. All the grace of God. There are too many ways that God has spared my life and spared the life of my children for me not to believe that He'd come through for me again. There's too many. Oh, this brush is a 129 brush by MAC. It's a big fluffy brush. For my contour, I'm using Juvia's Places Bronze Palette, and I'm going to use these. I'm gonna use both colors, and I'm gonna use this same brush. This is for the contour. Y'all see why I said I didn't want to, or I was debating putting makeup on my forehead? But yeah. What a time, what a time, what a time, child. What a time. Oh, let's do my nose. Same. I've really been liking using this blush, or this as blush rather. It's the same palette as the red, and I'm just going to deposit deposit it right here. This makeup look is definitely making me like my hair a lot more. It is. I like it a lot, actually. Some highlight on the tip of my nose, and this is Wet n Wild's Mega Glow Highlighting Powder and Precious Petals. Just at the tip of my nose. Just is all I like. That's it. I'm gonna put my lashes on, and I'll be right back. Now that my makeup is on and I'm dressed, I feel like I'm loving my hair more and more. Does that ever happen to you? Especially when it's something new that you're trying. This isn't like really new. This is the second time, maybe second time for sure that I'm trying this hairstyle. But this is only a temporary hairstyle because Christmas, when I take these Bantu knots out, honey, the curls are going to be popping. Let's move on to my lips. I'm going to use my regular. That is the Makeup by Mario's Ultra Suede Lip Pencil in Dark Chocolate and Huda Beauty's Liquid Lipstick in Wifey. It's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, this works. It can go with any outfit. I like to overline my top lip ever so slightly. My lips are already full. So that is it for this holiday dinner party look. Very glowy, very holiday-esque, I believe, I hope. Yeah, I felt like I was super nervous at the beginning of this video when I was talking about my near-death experience, but as the video progressed, I did calm down. It just made me really nervous to share my story. I don't know why. Maybe I still need some more time to heal, but I felt like I've healed enough to share it because I just don't want somebody to make the same mistakes that I did. Like, just trust what Holy Spirit is telling you. If Holy Spirit is telling you to wait, then wait. I hope my story helps somebody. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. All the products are down in the description box. I genuinely hope that you guys enjoy the holidays. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the support. Please give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. Share the video, subscribe to my channel. I hope my story encouraged somebody or helped somebody. I love you to life, and you will see me in the next one.